right. It is 4:30 a.m. January 2nd, 2026. I got a lot of thoughts in my head. I was randomly recommended this video on YouTube recently by Path Reacts, and I watched it all the way through, and it low key resonated with me on some levels. She talks about some personal stuff that she was going through that affected I guess her approach to YouTube or activity. But she has a reaction channel, which my channel is largely reacting now, and some of the stuff that she was saying, I don't know, it just kind of hit, bro. I've been thinking about a lot of things. New Year starting. I've had a lot of growth as a creator this past year, but at the same time, in some ways, I feel like it feels like the opposite, to be honest. It's kind of crazy. I tried to write a couple notes so I can not confuse myself too much of what I'm talking about, but yeah, another thing she talked about in that video was the feeling of feeling guilty about struggling with certain personal things and it affecting your ability to function. And it's like, and feeling like, damn, what I'm going through isn't even really that crazy, so it shouldn't be affecting me and making me not want to do this or that or post videos, whatever it is. I mean, to be fair, I feel like I feel like that like all the time. It's kind of crazy. I just feel like I could be doing so much more, and I get annoyed at my own limitations, mental or physical. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about YouTube. YouTube is crazy. Being monetized and just the idea of being able to make money, but not just make money, but being able to support myself or potentially make a career out of YouTube has been, like a lot of people, a dream of mine since I was legit a little jit. Like, I started YouTube technically when I was like 15, and it's like, it's crazy because in some levels it's crazy. Like, we're here, we're monetized, I'm a YouTube partner. um Even back then, getting 1,000 subs was like, that was the goal, you know. But it's kind of crazy. This past year, we've seen a lot of growth on YouTube, but at the same time, I feel like I failed to actually grow. Like, in some ways I grew, in some ways I learned stuff. um you know, numbers looked crazy some months, and it's like, damn, whoa, we're growing. But then it started to kind of hit that the growth that was happening wasn't necessarily me growing a community. And the same thing with certain other socials. My Instagram, my Instagram grew massively this past year. Like, we are at almost 15,000, and we had like under 500 earlier this, like, I think at the beginning of this year, something like that. And it's just like, damn, some things that Path Reacts was talking about in her video, um she was talking about certain people's response to her reactions to music, and it really hit. Building a Having a reaction channel, it's like a double-edged sword. Like, on the one hand, like, I'll post a video and people click on it. Like, it can get a lot of attention, but not necessarily because anybody knows or cares who I am. It's because people are looking to experience something that they love already through somebody else. And that's great. I knew that going into it. I watch reaction content, and that's why I watch it. But the other side of it is, people can be very, I'll put it this way. A lot of times when people want to relive the experience, they want to relive the experience exactly how they had it. And if it's anything different, they don't like it. And it can be kind of aggravating. For example, the World of Warcraft series, large was mostly well received by people because a lot of the things that I said, a lot of the things that I noticed apparently resonated a lot with the community that was already into World of Warcraft. On the other hand, The Witcher, just the mere fact that I mentioned that I watched a Netflix show, hundreds of hate comments. I'm still getting comments on that. Like it's actually crazy. Mind you, if you actually take the time to watch the video, I'm actually appreciating everything about the games and the cinematics and all of that. But it's like legit, a lot of people just could not get past the fact that I watched the Witcher show and didn't say it was absolute garbage. Like it's just like that's a whole nother rant I can go on, but it made me realize that a lot of people are just showing up because they want to experience something, and if I don't match what they want, if my experience doesn't match theirs, a lot of times it can go from a very positive thing to a very negative thing. And so then more recently I've tried, making other types of videos closer to like I've tried a gameplay video, the video reading Corey Kenshin's manga. Like I'm trying to do other things that also are my interests, and I'm realizing, damn, I didn't really cultivate much of a community on YouTube. It was more just getting clicks from outside fandoms that might like what I'm watching. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. To some degree, I already knew that's what it was. But it's like, I don't know, coming up on a new year, I feel like I'm feeling the need to make everything more about me. And that's not in a so that sounds crazy. Okay. Like I need my content to be more me centered. You know what I mean? I'll still react to stuff, obviously. Um, this all started from my love for League of Legends cinematics. The reason why you haven't seen me post a reaction to every League cinematic that there is because I've already watched most of them before I had the idea to make videos, and I'm not fake enough to pretend that I haven't seen Warriors, bro. Like I've watched that video like at least 20 times. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. I just have a lot of good and bad thoughts about this past year floating around in my head. I did achieve a lot. We grew a lot. I I got to work. I got to start working with two brands, Respawn Products. I became um a brand partner, my first brand partnership ever. Um, I became an ambassador for Juvee, a brand that I actually really liked and wanted to work with like a whole year before. Like we've accomplished things, hitting 15K, starting to make a little bit of money on YouTube, which again, it's not just about the money itself, but at the same time it is. That's my problem. You might be like someone might hear me talk about this and be like, bro, it's your YouTube channel. Just do whatever you want. Like why do you care so much about views? Why do you care? Like everybody preaches like don't care about views, don't care about money, don't do things for money. And I agree. But then also, like, wait, I might need to get the soundboard for this. Also, I'm 26 years old and I'm unemployed. And I all the jobs, all the work that I've been able to do in the past year or two has been like temporary contract things, work from home things. If y'all didn't know, which you probably don't, think about it, because I've never formally talked about it here on YouTube. I have a disability. I can't work any job that requires me to be on my feet. Um, is kind of cooked for me. I either have to work very little hours, or like it's just it's pretty bad. I have a bad foot. That's the simplified version of it. Um, so that combined with the area I live in, it's been very hard for me to find a job. And ironically, I think if I were to have a good job that doesn't make me want to unalive, but that I could just work steadily, it probably would have. I feel like I wouldn't have fallen so off when it comes to making content because uh, knowing that you have something to help provide for yourself a little bit or to help help you financially, I feel like it's a little bit freeing because it doesn't feel like every decision you make as a content creator who now makes money is a career decision. You know what I mean? Um, the World of Warcraft videos, yes, I was having fun. I was genuinely having fun making those. I wasn't like just chasing a bag. But I can't lie. When I was looking at my monetization and I was looking at I'm looking at my analytics, I'm like, "Oh, this is doing well. Maybe if I keep doing more of this, I will be less stressed about the fact that it's hard for me to find work." And while that sounds like a good thing, when the World of Warcraft fans don't have cinematics that they like anymore, or when I start getting to the part of the lore that World of Warcraft fans don't like anymore, that isn't the peak. It's not the battle for Azeroth. It's now uh midnight, whatever. All of a sudden, it goes down. And then for me, being a 26-year-old who's constantly stressed, like everybody is, about how am I gonna survive in life, bro? Like, how am I gonna, how am I ever gonna, I mean, I don't even want to say buy a house. At this point, we're looking at the bare minimum. Like, if I weren't living with family right now, I would not be able to pay rent currently, bro. Like, so it kind of puts extra pressure on me to feel like I need to make decisions responsibly. You know what I mean? Like, and then when it feels like there's not a lot I can really do anymore, or like when a certain niche falls off on my channel and I'm like, damn, all those people that were there for these videos, they are not here anymore. It's like, what decision do I make then? Do I just stop making YouTube videos? It's harder to justify spending that much time. And this year, I want to find a way to just go back to my roots. It's just so hard because when I started doing YouTube, I was a teenager, bro. I wasn't worried about money. Like, I was worried about money. Like, don't get me wrong. I was struggling then and technically way more than now. But it wasn't the same because I wasn't an adult. You know what I mean? Being 15 years old, I was poor, but like, I wasn't feeling like I didn't expect to have, gotten a degree and gotten a job and, you know what I mean? I wasn't expecting to have done all that back then. Now it's like, damn, bro. I It's really hard. It's hard to beat that part of my brain that tells me every creative decision is a mistake or is going to cost me. And it's very immobilizing. At the end of the day, yeah, I could do whatever I want to do, but it's like easier said than done. So what are we going to do about it? Kind of still figuring that out. I just know this year, 2026, I want to find a way to make all of my different channels of content, all of my different socials, I want it to just be me, bro. Somehow, I don't know what that means. Listen, okay, I'll put it. This is another thing. This is tangent number 9, bro. My socials, my online presence is like all over the place. If y'all didn't know, I was a Valorant creator for a long time. That was like my main thing. But it's like I was never able to really find it's unfortunate. I found a lot of community in Valorant. Like a lot of my connections as a streamer when I was learning more about streaming, it was like it's still middle of the pandemic. I got heavy into Valorant. I got a lot of connections from there, even up to like last year, really. A lot of the people I know as a content creator, at least, there are a lot of bigger content creators who trusted me with their communities. People like Mayui, Andrew, Tokibi, and then even more recently, Eka Claire, Timid, like just a lot of people in that kind of FPS Valorant space, right? But I never was able to find my it's like I had community, but I was never able to really build my own community in that scene. It's kind of strange. I still stream Valorant and sometimes Marvel Rivals now on Twitch, But it's like in terms of making YouTube videos and TikToks and stuff like that, I missed the big boom. I wasn't really able to do anything with it. Unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, all of my other stuff started doing well when I started doing reaction content. And on YouTube, it was the cinematics, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, stuff that gets copyrighted half the time. um However, Instagram, they really like low effort meme content. So I now have that's now my biggest platform somehow. That was the platform that I ignored the least at the beginning of the year. Now it's my biggest platform. But the more personal my content is over there, or the more it's aligned with interests that I have on here on YouTube that you guys see a lot with the cinematics and stuff, the worse it does. And if I post like me reacting to a funny clip and it's like 10 seconds long, it goes crazy over there. TikTok is even weirder, bro. It's very hard for me to, I don't know. I feel like I don't have a community. I just have a bunch of outlets that happen to connect to other people's interests. And I guess I just need to find a way to bring it all together. And I've been thinking about this for months. So I still don't exactly know how I'm gonna do it. I genuinely don't. But I do feel like on YouTube especially, I low-key haven't really tried. I haven't tried hard enough to make a community with y'all. I did some like posts back in the early World of Warcraft reactions days, but that was still mainly just to gauge what those World of Warcraft people wanted. I wish I could mentally go back to the time back before I knew anything about streaming and I was just a kid making YouTube videos. I low-key think I was better at making a community on YouTube back then than I am now. I'll be honest. But yeah, it's very hard. I'm still a gamer. I do also draw technically, allegedly, but for me drawing is more like what I imagine being a music artist is. Not I feel like most music artists, they can't just make you can't just drop albums every day. You have to have something to say. You have to have inspiration. Maybe some can. Maybe that's crazy. I don't know. But for me personally, drawing feels like that. I was never able to get drawing to be a massive part of my content because I can't draw on command. I have to have something to say. I have to feel inspired. I have to be telling a story. Which, speaking of, I am still trying to make a comic. Just a lot of planning goes into that, and it feels irresponsible for me to be focusing on something, for me to try to focus my brain on something like that when I know it won't really do well anywhere yet. I could be spending time doing something that's more financially responsible. It's just so many things in my head that I'm attempting to leave in 2025. That's the point of this. That's the point of me recording this. That's the point of me word vomiting. I need to find a way to leave these mindsets in 2025 while also not ignoring reality. And yeah, I don't know. It's very crazy. The whole thing that I mentioned earlier about guilt, low key, that can make me feel kind of guilty because it feels like I'm wasting my time. Like sometimes I think, oh, this is so hard now, but then I remember like, bro, when I was 15, I was going through crazy stuff, mind you. And then I was still editing YouTube videos on a busted laptop in Windows Movie Maker, taking hours to export like a 5-minute video for the love of the game. Not a penny to be gained in sight, for the love of the game. And yes, I had less responsibilities back then, but it's like, damn, it feels like I'm having first world problems compared to that now. And then it just makes me feel like ass, because then it's like, damn, why is it slowing me down so much now? I don't know. But I've been seeing videos pop up on my recommended, people being vulnerable, just getting stuff off their chest. Lord knows I can't afford therapy right now. So who knows? Maybe this will help. Maybe I can look back at this the beginning of next year and see what's different. See where see if my mindset's changed. See if I figured it out. I don't know. We're not quitting anything. I'm not like I'm not giving up. I don't get to give up. Not at this point. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this, bro. How to do it. Um but yeah, if you watch this and this resonates with you, hopefully I don't know if it would be very encouraging because I don't have the answers, but maybe it could be comforting to know that somebody is in a similar mindset, because that's how I felt when I found Path Reacts video. But yeah, I don't know. If you're here, like I said, I know I haven't built much of a community on YouTube. Um, it's a lot of it's a lot of game fandoms that come and go with the reacts, and I'm not like mad at it. Like I said, I do the same thing too. I watch the same kind of content too for other stuff. But yeah, if you are here, appreciate you. And I don't know, maybe you found somebody just randomly yapping some like-minded stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to keep creating stuff. I'm going to keep trying to figure this out. I'm still very grateful for all the growth that we've had, especially on YouTube. I was able to help my family with some bills. I was able to afford my TwitchCon trip, and other things because of YouTube. So I am eternally grateful. We're gonna figure it out, bro. We're gonna figure it out. All right, I don't want to edit this, so I'm gonna click stop recording. See ya.